Okay guys, so we're going to go ahead and explore the next example, which is going to allow us to multiply and divide. It's similar to what we did before, but this time instead of adding and subtracting, we're going to multiply and divide. So let's say that we have a function f of x, which equals x squared minus 9, and g, which is x plus 3. The problem in this case is asking us to find f and g, f times g, and f divided by g, and their domains. So I'm going to actually leave the domain part for next, but we're going to approach it exactly the same way we did before. We're going to substitute, and I'm actually just going to use, for the sake of time, these over here. X squared minus 9 is equal to f of x. And again, these rules actually came from the key ideas at the beginning, okay? Forgot to mention that. So if you don't know where this came from, see key ideas on the very first slide that I showed you. And I'm going to multiply that by g of x, which is x plus 3. Okay, so I'm actually just going to do that. If you don't remember what this looks like, I'm going to show you in a minute. I did the multiplication for you. Remember, this is just the box that we used when we were dealing with polynomials. You put one of the binomials here, the other binomial here, and just multiply. I'm not going to go into detail here because this is previous work. If you have questions, please ask them in class. And all I did next was write this in standard form. So I had the cube first, and degree 2, degree 1, and constant. So that is all. I have nothing to combine. I have nothing left to simplify, so this is my final answer for that. Here's where it gets tricky. Oh well, we have to do the domain for this. So we know that the domain for a quadratic function is all real numbers. So for the domain for this one is all of the number line. So all x's such that x is a member of this. Or you can say all real numbers. But for g is just a line. So g is actually, the picture of g actually just looks like this. It's a y-intercept of 3, and it's a positive. That's a very crooked line, but anyway. The domain is also all possible real numbers. So the domain here is all real numbers. Because both of these domains are all real numbers, their product is also going to provide us a domain with all real numbers. And I know I'm going over this kind of quickly and kind of not in detail, but this is one of the things that you're going to fix with practice. So again, questions, ask them in class, please. Using the same functions, they just want us to find f divided by g. We're going to take the exact same approach and do a good old substitution to find the solution. We know that f of x is x squared minus 9. I should have used red for that. And then I'm going to do x squared, x plus 3. If we do this right away, there isn't really much we can do. But if you remember from our quadratics unit, I could actually factor this out as x plus 3 and x minus 3. And a way to do that is using that, right? So I'm not going to go into detail about how I got this. That's a different review. Watch the video for that. I will make one later if you really need me to. So this, once I broke it down into two binomials, using this, it turned into something like this. But now we know that any number divided by the same number, if they are the same, we can cancel them out. And it's like saying this, guys. Let's say that I have 8 times 5 divided by 8. I know that my answer is going to be 40 divided by 8, which is just 5, right? But I can just go ahead and cancel this out because I'm dividing them, and I'll get a 5, which is the same thing I got. So the same idea is applied here. Since this cancels out, my final answer is x minus 3. So I can say that f divided by g of x equals x minus 3. Now, the domain for this one, I want you to take a look at this right here. Quadratics, like we said, have all real numbers. But in this case, remember that I cannot divide by 0 because I get an error. It's impossible. You have to think what number would make my denominator 0. And the correct answer is -3. Because of that, our domain should be all real numbers except -3. Why? Because if I put -3, let's say what would happen if I put -3? I would have -3 squared is 9 minus 9 divided by -3 plus 3, which gives me 0 over 0. And this 0 is it's not the problem. The problem is that I cannot divide by 0 because it gives me an error. It's impossible and the world would end. So again, guys, if you have questions, please shoot me a message.